All right, so here's a bunch of highs and lows from the State of Play livestream from PlayStation. They showed a bunch of games in here. I'd say only a few were that interesting. A lot of them were not really my type of game that I'd get into. And I felt like watching the chat during this live stream, I noticed that a lot of people on there were not really into a bunch of the games on this. And it was like, you know, there's all these new games that you think people would actually want to try because it's different. It's not the same thing all the time, but just seems like a lot of people on the live stream, at least on the chat version on YouTube, just were not that interested in a bunch of these games. Maybe the reception could have been different on different live streams, like on Twitch or something, but I was watching on YouTube and just seemed like, you know, people in the chat were not really feeling a bunch of these games. Like a lot of people were like waiting for GTA 6, some are waiting for John Wick or Spiderman or something from Marvel. But yeah, a bunch of them were not really that interesting to me, but I'm sure some fans out there will actually like them. But, you know, that's just the way it is. You can't please everyone. But I mean, there's only a few that I really liked that I thought maybe I could see myself playing it someday. Maybe, but yeah, we'll see over the next couple of months on some more trailers, more game footage. But yeah, I was watching the chat during this also, and it was really funny, like watching the chat get so disappointed from what they're watching. They're like, oh, this is not good, this is trash, this is a rotten tomato, this is an L. It's like I saw that over and over, and I just feel like maybe a lot of these games were, I guess, archetypes or had mechanics or were a style of game that people were not really into or not used to, and they're just waiting for their own big game, like GTA 6, you know, another trailer. But yeah, GTA 6 was not on there. There's a few good ones, but I noticed that the chat was mostly not really feeling most of the games on this live stream for the State of Play from PlayStation. But there's a few good ones. Yeah, there's a few of them, but they're far in between. Resident Evil Requiem, yeah, that got the chat pretty excited. I mean, a lot of fans are really into this game. Like, they saw the gameplay trailers and the footage and all the news, and yeah, Resident Evil Requiem is getting pretty hyped. It looks pretty good. Like, the mechanics in this game are similar to Resident Evil 4, where you have to like injure or stagger or knock down a zombie, then finish them off with some other way, like a finishing move or something. Yeah, it's pretty much like RE4 in a way. And Leon is coming back. Yeah, so that's good. There's a remaster for Legacy of Kain. This game series has been dormant for a long time, and I feel like not a lot of people actually have played it or heard about it. It's a slow-paced adventure game with a lot of puzzles. The story and voice acting, though, is really good. There was one ninja game where I think they said it's from the creators or people that worked on Tenchu. I forgot exactly what they said, but they mentioned Tenchu in there. And so at first I got excited and I was like, is that Ricky Maru, the ninja with the gray hair? But when I saw the gameplay, it's like, oh, it's a top view kind of strategy stealth based game. And I was like, well, nah, that's not really for me. I mean, you can put Tenchu on the title, you can put Tenchu characters in there, but I'd prefer a closer third person view for a Tenchu game, not this top view. You know, it's not for me. Yeah. Oh, then we have Commander Fried Chicken. This was, I'd say, the funniest game reveal so far, because the main character looks like a rooster or a chicken, but reminds me of Wukong in a way. Yeah, that kind of very funny kind of character design, but it's very combat heavy, as you can see. That reminds me of the weapon that Tessai used in the movie Ninja Scroll, remember? There's a Star Wars racing game, if you're into that. I'm not really into that kind of stuff. I mean, the only racing games I played was Mario Kart, Diddy Kong Racing, and Extreme G. I played a bit of F-Zero, but that was it. Oh yeah, I also liked Top Gear on Super Nintendo. There's another James Bond video game coming out. This one is called First Light. This looks like his very early days or the starting of his career when he first went into the whole system of being an agent. So yeah, it's like a younger version of James Bond. And I think they're talking about making a movie featuring a younger Bond. Some people in the chat were wondering if they're going to show Metal Gear Solid in some way, and it was shown. But it's like a master collection, a few games mixed into one bundle. And they're also going to remaster the original game with, I'd say, HD graphics. There were a few games that left the chat kind of confused on what kind of game it was they were showing. And for example, this one here looks like a stealth-based puzzle game, but you're playing as an octopus. But yeah. They showed a new Castlevania game. This one is like, I guess, a mix of 3D graphics in a 2D platform style. But looks very cool artistically. The mechanics are interesting also. It's a bit different than the classic Castlevania games. When I saw this footage, I was thinking, what was that game I played recently on Steam about 2 weeks ago that was kind of like this, but I forgot the name. But anyways, yeah, if you like Castlevania, check that out. When I saw this footage here, I was thinking, okay, the art style, the kind of spooky town, it's empty, there's no one around, it's foggy. I thought, is this kind of a new Silent Hill game? And yep, it is. This one is called Silent Hill Townfall. So from the gameplay footage, you can see that the atmosphere, the art style, the approach to spooky scenes or scary moments is very similar to the other Silent Hill games of the past. So yeah, coming out 2026. This one here is a JRPG, and when it showed up, the chat just kind of was not feeling it. They were like, no, skip, next game, move on, come on. So yeah, I mean, this might appeal to some people out there, but from what I saw in the chat, people were like, nah, just, skip it. And then finally, they showed something really exciting. Even though this looks like a cutscene in the game and not actual gameplay, this is the John Wick video game. So people in the chat were saying, is John Wick next? Is it going to show up? Are they going to show us John Wick footage? And there you go. John Wick video game. And then right after John Wick, they showed us Concord 3 or Concord 4. No, I mean, this is Marathon. But yeah, there's a lot of talk about this game in social media. People are saying it's not something they'll want to play. It looks like another Concord failure, most likely. But who knows? Some fans might like it. We'll see. But yeah, that's Marathon. If you're a fan of Spider-Man, well, they showed us Marvel's Spider-Man 2. So this one looks good. Graphics look really nice in this game. Combat looks really good too as well. There's also footage of Venom and also Kraven the Hunter. The combat is very similar to the other Spider-Man games out there. So if you like Spider-Man, then watch out for this one. They also mentioned a couple of retro games coming to their catalog. This one is Time Crisis. It's a very old classic arcade game that was ported to different consoles, different platforms. So if you like it, check it out. Then we have this game, which looks like you're controlling some kind of ant figure and is filled with a lot of puzzles. Not for me, but maybe it appeals to other players out there. Then we have this game called Saros, where your character is in third-person view. He has weapons, different abilities, and he fights against different creatures or demons. It's very different, interesting, but not the storyline I'll get into, but you might like it. They showed some footage of Marvel's Tokon, the new fighting game from Marvel. Visually, it looks very nice. Graphics are very nice. It's a 2D fighting game, but the roster is all based on Marvel superheroes or Marvel characters and so on. But I can tell that this game is going to be heavily based on air combos and possibly might have infinite combos. Those are dangerous. When I look at this game, it reminds me of Dragon Ball Fighter Z. So yeah, if you like fighting games and if you like Marvel, then check out this game. God of War was mentioned in the State of Play, but what they're doing here is a trilogy remake of the first 3 games. So as you can see, it's called God of War Trilogy Remake. However, there is another God of War game that was shown right after this. And this one is more like a 2D side-scroller, a lot of platforming. This one is different, so who knows? There are some players out there that like 2D platformers, so if you like that, then check it out. You might like it. So for myself, I felt like there's a bunch of games in this state of play that don't really appeal to me. Only a few of them I thought, okay, maybe I could see myself playing that in the future. We'll see how it turns out later on. But who knows? For other gamers out there, they might see that 90% or 80% were games they would play. So it depends on the person, depends your preference, depends what you're into. I'm not saying they were bad games. I'm just saying that a lot of games on this state of play did not appeal to me. Anyways, that's it for this video. What are your thoughts about this state of play? What games do you like? Which ones do you dislike? Tell me in the comments, and I'll see you later. I'm gonna order KFC.